and it's going to be the same thing. And with this one, they show you having like a hip strap. You don't have to worry about that because, you know, I mean, I have one, but I don't have one here. So typically it's going to go like right across. Can you lay your son?
Yeah. I was just looking at the picture.
So it's just going to go right across here. But you want to also make sure that you're sticking this like underneath that strap, but you don't have to worry about that for this. And the reasoning for that is to help stabilize it, and also so that he's not, you know, like lifting his pelvis like off the table. So in this case, it's going to be the same position where it's going to be the greater trochanter is going to be your axis. This is going to be lined up to the trunk, and then this is going to be lined up to the femur. But you're going to have to, when you're doing this, you're going to have to kind of hold the leg up a little bit to get it to neutral, and then you're going to have him bring it up. And see like how he's like lifting? That strap would help to kind of keep him down so he's not rolling over to try to, you know, try to give him a trick or a substitution movement where he's getting more extension than he really is. So that was 0 to about 19 degrees. And in the book, they can get up to about 30 degrees. Okay? So that is hip extension. Now hip abduction, which is on page 271. With this one, you're actually going to start off with your goniometer looking like this at a 90-degree angle. This is where you start to read your red numbers, okay? So when you're doing this, the axis is actually going to be on your ASIS, so it's your anterior superior iliac spine, okay? And that's just that bone that is, you know, poking out, you know, right at your pelvis, okay? So, and then when you're doing hip abduction, the idea is that, how do I have this? So the idea is that you're gonna probably have him slide over towards the table so he can swing his leg out and stay supported. You're gonna go right on top. The stationary arm is gonna go midline on his on the anterior surface of his femur, and then I'm sorry, wrong way. So your stationary arm is gonna so you start off like at 90. Your stationary arm is gonna go across both of the anterior. It's gonna be lined up to the anterior superior iliac spine. So your axis is your anterior iliac spine, anterior superior iliac spine, and then this is just gonna go directly across it. Okay. And then your movable arm is going to be the anterior surface of your femoral shaft, okay? And then all you're going to do is for hip abduction, how should his leg move? Yep, out towards me. So what you would do is making sure that this stays stable, you would say, can you swing your legs out? And sorry, I should have done it that way, but.
It's okay.
And then so here, okay, so you're going to stop. So he's at about 30 degrees, okay? Now, when you're doing abduction, what you're doing here is that you have to make sure you move the leg out of the way. So this leg should actually be resting on a chair. So I would bend his knee, get it out of the way, and then what I'm going to do here is make sure I line his hip up to 0. And again, my stationary arm is going to go across his pelvis. So this is going to go over your anterior iliac, superior iliac spine. It's going to go directly across. The movable arm, again, is going to go on the anterior surface of your femur. And then what I would do is ask him to bring his hips, you know, towards his midline or towards the next leg. So when he does that, slide your leg across. I'm just going to do that measurement. And that's going to be about, what, 37, 0 to 37 degrees.
Is that still the red numbers?
Mm-hmm. So
Do some people put their leg over top? Like
you can, like, so, like in this case,
So
I
like
could have swung his legs out a little bit more, And that's what, you know, you can do. The other thing that when you're doing your pre-test, you can kind of just see, like, can you move your leg over? You don't want him to flex and then cross over, because then he's recruiting, you know, parts of, you know, different muscle groups. So the idea is you're really looking at the adductors in this case, okay? And that's what you have to watch out for. What students usually will make a mistake is they'll have their legs up here, they'll move it out a little bit, and then they're just, you know, they'll slide it across, and clearly he's really not, you know, crossing his midline, and usually a lot of patients can. So then you want to make sure his other leg is out of the way. You can slide it out, and you just slide it across. So make sure next week you wear something that's comfortable and stretchy, okay?
So in the book they have you